Welcome to ABC Interactive English. I am Shane.
And I am Karen. Today we are looking at part 1 of standing up for what's right. So when we say standing up for what's right, what do we mean?
Well, we don't really mean to stand up like that, because that would be a little bit silly. It means that you will say something or do something to say what is happening is wrong.
Like speaking up.
Speaking up is another way of saying that. Yeah.
So are you the type of person that would speak up when you see maybe someone is being treated unfairly or not in a kind way or being bullied?
I'll say in American culture, we like to speak up. We like to, if we think something is wrong or something is bad, we're not afraid to open our mouths and say, hey, this is not okay.
That's right.
Right. When I was in elementary school, there was a boy who was being picked on by another boy.
Okay.
And I remember that we were standing in a line and the boy who was the bad boy was standing behind me and he kept picking on the boy in front of me.
So when you say picking on that boy, you mean maybe making fun of him and making him feel bad or uncomfortable, right?
That's what it means to pick on. It's kind of like another way of saying bullying. And I said, stop it, and he didn't stop, so I told the teacher. I said that he keeps picking on this boy, and he got in trouble. And after that, he didn't pick on that boy anymore.
Good for you, Shane. And that was such a sweet thing for you to do.
I'm like a superhero.
Wow, so you do stand up for what's right. Okay, well, let's learn more about it in today's lesson.
Okay.
You're at the playground. You see a group of kids bullying another kid. You know that it's none of your business. You also know that it's wrong. Do you look the other way, or do you stand up for what's right?
Okay, so we're looking at part 1, standing up for what's right. So we talked a little bit about what it means to stand up for somebody or something in the intro. But can you explain a little bit more?
Well, of course. Just like you said, when we say stand up for something, it doesn't literally mean standing up, right? But it actually means speaking up and then, to talk about what you actually believe in. If you see somebody or something that is not right, you do not keep quiet.
And ignore it or something.
Exactly, or walk away from the situation. So standing up, maybe you see somebody being bullied or being treated unfairly, then you would not just walk away. You would probably exactly. Then you would probably stand up and you tell them, hey, I don't think what you're doing right now is right. Please stop it. That is called standing up for something or someone.
Right, okay. So let's begin. You're at the playground.
Yay!
Yay, we like playgrounds. You see a group of kids bullying another kid. Not good. Okay, so what is a playground? So a playground is just, you can see from the word play and ground, you can kind of get a sense of what it means. It's an outdoor area where children can play. Many playgrounds have stuff like slides, or maybe you can go on the swing.
The monkey bars.
The monkey bars.
Jungle gym.
Oh, all kinds of fun stuff. So for example, you can say, the children had fun playing in the playground.
Okay, and we're also looking at this word here, bully. And we're using it as a verb here. So to bully someone means to treat someone in a cruel, insulting, threatening, or aggressive way. To act like a bully towards that person. You're being mean to that person. You're not respecting that person.
You might be hurting that person's feelings.
That's right. You could be saying something that's really mean, or you could be doing something like pushing that person to the ground.
Oh, no.
So for example, you can say, Maria bullied her younger brother. And that's not a nice thing to do.
Well, I think that happens quite often with siblings. You have siblings bullying each other all the time, and that's when the parents have to get involved and to try to stop this bullying. But that's pretty common.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的单字跟文法重点。首先来看看单字的部分。Playground, playground 名词，游乐场、操场。The kids are playing on the playground. 孩子们正在游乐场上玩耍。Bully, bully 动词，霸凌。The older students bullied Kevin every day at school. 高年级学生每天在学校霸凌 Kevin。接着我们来看文法的部分。Stand up for 为什么挺身而出？我们来看看这个例句。We should stand up for our friends when they need support. 当朋友需要支持时，我们应该要为他们挺身而出。接着我们回到课文当中。
Okay, well, let's continue. You know that it's none of your business. You also know that it's wrong. Okay, so, sometimes it could be a little bit hard. You don't know what to do. So when you say that something is none of your business, that means you're not involved. When someone is being bullied, it's not really about you. So it's none of your business. But you also know that it's wrong to bully someone, and you don't want to see anyone being bullied or being treated unfairly.
Unless you're a bully.
Exactly.
There are definitely bullies out there. So if you're one of those bullies, you need to be paying attention to this because it's not okay. So, continuing. Do you look the other way, or do you stand up for what's right?
我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的文法。None of one's business 不关某人的事。Business 在这里表示事情、事物。我们来看看这个对话。Why didn't you go to the party? 你怎么没去派对？ That's none of your business. 这不关你的事吧？下一个文法。Look the other way. 视而不见。通常用于描述某人选择无视不当行为，而非采取行动。我们来看看这个例句。Lucy saw Tom cheating, but looked the other way. Lucy 看见 Tom 作弊，但选择视而不见。接着我们回到课文当中。
Yeah, so to look the other way would just mean that you just ignore it.
Pretend that, this is not happening.
Or you just feel like it's not my business, so I don't want to get involved with this situation.
Because sometimes it's hard.
It is difficult, and especially, you might be afraid if you say something, maybe you will get bullied.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if the bully is very mean, there is a good chance that bully might end up putting you on his checklist.
That's right.
Of people to bully. So that's why we have teachers and adults to hopefully help with that.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so why don't we take a short break and we'll be right back.
All right.
Some people choose the first action. They fear what might happen to them if they speak up. However, a few brave people choose the second action. Their concern is for the child, not themselves. Also, they have a strong moral character and won't accept bad behavior.
Welcome back, everyone. So before the break, we were looking at this article called Standing Up for What's Right. And we were looking at the situation where you're at the playground and if you see somebody being bullied and then you're thinking, what should I do? You know that this is none of your business. You're not in this situation yourself. So do you walk away or do you stay and stand up for them?
All right.
Sometimes it's very hard to decide because you might not want to get in trouble yourself.
All right, so let's continue. So like you're saying, some people choose the first action, which is really just to walk away or just not stand up for that person, you know, just kind of ignore it. They fear what might happen to them if they speak up.
Yes, because they are scared.
Yeah, so if you fear something, that means it's a verb. To fear means to be frightened of, or you could say to be scared of. So for example, you could say, I fear high places.
Ah, so that means you're scared of high places.
Right.
Ah.
Yeah, so, you know, if you do speak up, I think a lot of times, like I mentioned before, you might be afraid that the bully will then direct themselves at you.
Exactly.
They will start to bully you. And that could be scary, you know, that could cause fear. So fear could also be used as a noun.
That's right. So it really takes a lot of courage, you know, to stand up for what's right. So continuing, however, a few brave people choose the second action, which is to stand up for what's right. Their concern is for the child, not themselves. That's true. So their concern is a noun. So concern is a noun that means a feeling of worry or desire to protect or help someone or something. So for example, you can say, our main concern is to ensure the safety of the children. We want to make sure that all the children are safe. So that is our main concern.
Right. So rather than worrying about what might happen to you if you are to tell somebody, you don't worry about yourself. You worry about the person who is being bullied.
That's right.
That's what we call being selfless. You know, we have two words, selfish, which just means you think about yourself. And then there's another word, selfless, S-E-L-F-L-E-S-S, selfless. So that would be being selfless.
Exactly.
我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的单字 fear 动词害怕 Mandy fears losing her job. Mandy 害怕失去工作。Concern 名词，关心或担忧的事。Bella's biggest concern is the safety of her children. Bella 最大的担忧是孩子们的安全。接着我们回到课文当中。
Okay, continuing. Also, they have a strong moral character and won't accept bad behavior.
Strong moral character. What does that mean?
Well, we're talking about your character. We're talking about your personality, like what your beliefs are, what you are like. So moral character, moral is an adjective. It's having to do with what is right and what is wrong in how a person acts. So for example, you can say, it's important for people to act moral. So when you act moral, what you're doing is you are doing what is right.
Exactly.
Right? If you're going to be a moral person, you do things according to what is right, and you avoid bad behavior or wrong behavior.
That's right. And character is a noun. And like you mentioned before, a character is a person's personality or the way they think, feel, or behave. So for example, you can say, Shane is a man of good character.
Why, thank you very much, Karen.
That means you have a very kind personality, and then people like being around you, and you do the right thing, right?
Usually.
Yes, usually.
我们来看一下刚刚课文里提到的单字 character 名词品格 Honesty is an important part of a person's character. 诚实是个人品格的重要部分。Moral 形容词道德的。The teacher taught us the importance of moral values. 老师教导我们道德价值的重要性。接着我们回到课文当中。
Okay, so we see that, basically you want to be moral, you want to be good, and you want to not just think about yourself. In this situation, you need to think about this child who is being bullied. Because if you don't step in and do something, you don't stand up, you don't speak up, then it's a good chance that this child will continue to be bullied.
That's true.
Right? And we need to get rid of bullying.
Exactly, because no one should be treated like that, right?
That's right.
Everyone deserves respect and love and kindness.
That's true. Okay, and that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us, and be nice to people.
That's right, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
You're at the playground. You see a group of kids bullying another kid. You know that it's none of your business. You also know that it's wrong. Do you look the other way, or do you stand up for what's right? Some people choose the first action. They fear what might happen to them if they speak up. However, a few brave people choose the second action. Their concern is for the child, not themselves. Also, they have a strong moral character and won't accept bad behavior.
我们来复习一下这一课的重点单字跟文法。单字的部分 Playground 名词游乐场、操场 Fear 动词害怕 Concern 名词关心或担忧的事 Character 名词品格 Bully 动词霸凌 Moral 形容词道德的。接着我们来看文法的部分 Stand up for 为什么挺身而出 It was brave of you to stand up for your friend 你为你的朋友挺身而出，这很勇敢 None of one's business 不关某人的事 How much money do you make 你赚多少钱啊 That's none of your business 这不关你的事吧 Look the other way 视而不见 Looking the other way won't make this problem go away 选择视而不见并不会让这个问题消失以上就是这一课的重点单词跟文法那我们下一次再见咯拜拜
So, most people have viewed the beauty of Sun Moon Lake from land. But have you ever seen it while being on the lake itself? If you ever wanted to experience being up close and personal with the popular lake, well, you're in luck because there are boat tours readily available to take you out onto Sun Moon Lake. The best way to tour Sun Moon Lake is by boat. Most people start from 水社 Pier. The trip takes 1.5 hours to 2 hours. The boat will stop at places such as 玄光 Temple Pier and 义大少 Pier. During the trip, the captain will introduce special sights along the way. Many people will get off the boat at Shunguang Temple Pier. You can often see street performers in the plaza by the pier. When you move around, the walkway will lead you to a famous Sun Moon Lake stone marker. You can enjoy a great view of the lake here. In the center of the lake is Lalu Island. According to Sao legend, Lalu Island is where their ancestors' spirits came to rest. It's no longer open for tourists. An ancestor is any person from whom one is descended. And many indigenous communities are very mindful and respectful of their ancestors. So, with Lalu Island being their final resting place, it's best not to disturb the spirits of their ancestors. Well, there are still plenty of other views and places to see on the boat tours. So, next time you go, make sure to pay close attention to the words of the captain, who is in charge of the ship, so you can learn more about Sun Moon Lake.